fucking go.
Welcome everyone to the July 2026 TEMP online meetup. Excuse me a second, just finishing up some pizza here. But yeah, it's what we've been doing for a while every month. Got a new face here today, or a new voice anyways. Krasu, welcome, and several regulars. So we stream to Twitch and to YouTube, and we are now using Microsoft Teams internally here for the discussion. So basically, when it comes time to playing music, we pretty much do it through OBS directly to Twitch and YouTube, and then we come back to Teams here to discuss. And yeah, it's just Thursday before a long weekend here in I think it's across Canada, but it's for sure in Ontario anyway. And basically, it's our usual format. So everyone submits a tune if they want, and then we listen to it, and then we go around and provide feedback. I put everyone's name who has submitted music so far into a random name picker. Yeah, I see the chat functioning to me, Richard.
I don't see it working.
If you press chat on the top there, right beside.
Well, I have notifications on I'm on my phone again. Anyway, I'll figure it out. What's the YouTube link? Because the Twitch link isn't working. It doesn't seem to be.
Oh no?
Twitch is working for me.
Is it?
So maybe it's maybe it's your.
Yeah, let me get that for you. I'm glad that you asked that, Andrew, because I was ready. Because I knew.
Okay. I just refreshed and it came online. But thank you. Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna throw it in there anyway, though, because.
Okay. I'm gonna write it down for next time.
No, it changes. That's the whole point. It's a unique video.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Oh, I see.
Yeah. There is like a standalone, URL, I guess, for live streams too. But
I can't upload the link from my phone to my computer, my PC. It doesn't. Well, at least I don't know how to. Anyway, whatever. Anyway, it's working.
No, I personally only use a computer whenever I can. I'm not really a smartphone guy, even though I was in telecom. Go figure. You would think I'd be into phones, but really I'm not. But okay, I finally got this link here. Bear with me, guys. But if you can't see the chat, that might not really be much of use. But anyway, for anyone else that wants the YouTube link, there it is.
I see it now. Yeah. Oh, but it's on the YouTube. Okay, that's why I see it. I got it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So basically, lots of stuff happening. It feels like summer is just flying by. August is just around the corner, and feels like only yesterday we were doing this. And the last meetup was really good. I personally was happy with the track I shared, as a matter of fact. But everyone's track, if I remember, pretty well. Hard act to follow. So I don't know. I feel like when you really share a really good track one month, like the next month comes around and you're like, man, I don't know, how can I outdo myself? Because I listened back to that track and I was really happy with it, to be honest with you. So
That was
That
really
a
good.
chat.
Yeah, thank you. But
Unfortunately, I
anyways,
wasn't there to hear that.
it's all good. It's all good. I will be releasing it soon, so I'll let everyone know. There
Okay.
is an archive, though. That's the one good thing with the YouTube. There's possibly more than one good thing, but at least one good thing is that we have like archiving. Whereas for Twitch, with my our level, unless you're an affiliate, it goes away after like 14 days.
Mhm.
So it's nice to have like the archive there for that purpose. But anyways, without any further ado, I'm gonna go ahead. I think I have everyone's name here that's online. Jill said he might be joining us later.
Yeah, he said about 8 o'clock.
Yeah, so when he joins, we'll add his name too. And so yeah, let me just go ahead and get my bearings straight here. Share. Oops. Sharing.
Niagara Falls, nice.
That's my desktop.
Mhm.
That is Niagara Falls. Did you know that Niagara Falls is actually receding? Like the Niagara Falls escarpment that you see is the previous location of where the falls. It keeps falling and it keeps moving back. I didn't know that actually until recently.
Yeah, it's been doing that for thousands of years, actually.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's pretty crazy what water can do.
Yeah, definitely. So okay, I think I got everyone's name here. Yep. Hey, Jeff, you're the first contestant.
Oh, seriously? Okay.
Yes,
So
you're up.
we're talking about 80s music. So I've had this one sitting for a little while and just didn't know what to do with it. So anyway, I decided because I was thinking I wanted some vocals with it, but I can't sing it because it's a little. I think it would be too high for me. But it's something. At one time, it sort of struck me as 80s kind of music. So give it a shot there, Lenny. We're all set.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's give it a whirl.
And don't forget to mute. Yeah, good track. I think I
Thank
think you
you.
can almost use like a bit of a bass, whoops, a bass guitar or something like that to kind of like ground everything, because you do have like a bass sense or something, but maybe a bass guitar to kind of give it a bottom end.
Okay. Like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
you're
like boom,
you're
boom,
like a
boom, 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 boom. You know, could be just like a fingered bass or like a P bass or something like that
okay. Yeah, I've had that
to get
sitting
it
there
more
for,
into that 80s thing. Mhm.
right. I've had it sitting there for a while, and I just
Yeah.
haven't. I tried singing along with it, but it's too high. It requires a too high of a register for me. So then I just said, I got to get it out there and get some feedback on it. It's because
Mhm.
I just like I like a lot of the things in it, but it's just never, there was always something missing. So I said, but I wanted just to get some feedback on it, right? So
Yeah, I agree
Yeah.
with the vocals there. That's definitely one way to add layer. But even if
Mhm.
you put the vocals aside for a moment, um, another typical like sound from the 80s are like stabs, like those kind of like
Mm.
that
Yeah.
that. I'm not necessarily saying it will work with this particular track, but just keep that in mind, like it's a kind of a. And the other thing I want to mention, there's a part where it sort of goes, it detunes or whatever. So
Mhm.
that was kind of an interesting little touch, I thought. Kind of
Okay.
give it a bit of a curveball there. I think there
Yeah.
might be a way to make that work better. I don't know exactly how. I think it does work, but you know what I mean? Like if there's a way to glue that in somehow, I don't know if you guys know what I mean, but like, I don't know, somehow like a thread to kind of maybe, I'm not sure. Sometimes, you sort of get people ready for it and then it comes in, or maybe another layer. What do you guys think? I mean, I did like it because it makes it
Yeah.
different, but you don't want it to make it sound like a mistake either, necessarily.
Mhm.
Yeah, to me it kind of stuck out, but I think if you do kind of that pitch bendy thing, you could do it, in tune, but have the pitch bend kind of cross over between the notes, so that it stays in tune, but it does have that bend in it. This definitely, one other thing I wanted to mention, this track does sound like one of your earlier works. Your later
Oh.
works, I think, are more polished and more refined. So
Mm.
maybe you go back and revisit the arrangement on this one a little bit and give it some more structure. But I like the components of it.
Yeah,
So,
that's why I didn't leave it alone. There was
mhm.
some things in it, like I agree with you that like it's got some things that uh, that I like, and so I just didn't want to let it sit. But
Mhm.
I just didn't. I haven't really known how to finish it, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm a little lost with it.
Yeah, maybe you deconstruct it, make a copy of it, deconstruct
Mhm.
the arrangement a little bit, and take those parts and rearrange it, back
Mm.
into something more like what you do with your current tracks. Because I think your current tracks kind of have more of a focus and a story to tell. This one had all those elements, but it kind of meandered a little bit from place to place, like your earlier work,
Mm.
was a little bit less mature, in my opinion. So I
Okay.
think that this one, maybe to revisit this one, you just take all your, I don't know how your track looks, but take all your sequences and shove them all the way over to the right out of the song, and then just drag pieces back in and arrange it like you would normally do on your current tracks. See if that
Hmm.
would do it.
Well,
Anyway.
but it
Yeah,
it
well,
also
that's a,
it also suggests, Jeff, there's that maybe it's not done. So you're
Mhm.
thinking vocals and Phil, that was that's good advice. Parts of it seem a little sparse, and so maybe there's just room there to continue. So whether you sing the part or just find another instrument that's maybe vocal sounding, and it certainly has the it's airy, it has the room to have another
Mhm.
melody or theme running through it. So
yeah, thanks, Richard. Yeah, it there's definitely there was some places in there for vocals or something. It's just that for me, it was. I think it needs to be a higher level vocal where I'm sort of like mid to
Mhm.
low. I think this needs to be, mid to high to be. I don't. Yeah. So
Have you tried transposing it? I mean, that's another thing you could do is take all your parts and transpose them down into your
interesting.
range and try that, you know.
Hmm.
I don't
Yeah,
think it'll
that's
change the tune that much, but it could allow you to then put your vocals on it.
interesting. I didn't even think about that, Phil. That's kind of cool. I like that.
I agree with Phil as I think it was his first or second comment about the low end. I think it needs a bit of low end, but that's just me personally. I like low end. So,
Right.
Yeah, and punchiness too, you know, like I feel like if you're going for the 80s sound, there's a real punchy sound, and even when it's done again now, we tend to expect to have even more punchiness than the original, maybe.
I mean, it is, you know, if you look at the title and you look at the description, yearning, it is sitting there. So I don't think you want to make it too happy, but it, you know, can still be introspective and still add some of those elements that Lenny and Andrew are talking about.
I personally
Like,
really like.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I personally really like the melodic idea towards the end. I forgot how it goes, but it's like dun, 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 something like that. I really like that. Yeah. I really like it.
Oh, thank you.
But I agree with Andrew and Philip on it needs a little bit more low end. Sorry.
Okay.
And yeah, but it's a great track. Like I really like the pad sound. It could sound like more fuller. I don't know how you're gonna achieve that, but like, yeah, just a fuller pad sound would be nice. But yeah, the ideas are there. Like I really like them.
More pad. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's. So when you're speaking about the bass, are you talking about a more punctuated bass, or are you talking about more like a sub bass kind of?
No, more of a sub bass. Yeah.
More of a sub bass. Okay.
Yeah. I don't feel like the punchiness would fit the track. You know.
Yeah, it could be like a fingered bass instead of like a picked bass, you know.
Yeah.
So, or even I don't know, maybe not a fretless, but you know, something with a more round tone instead of a sharp transient.
Well, this is going to require more brain juice than I've
Some
had
surgery.
for this one so far.
Just do some surgery on it and see what happens. I've been going through my old tracks because I've been logging like, okay, what VSTs did I use? Because I'm going to get a new computer soon once they release something suitable. But so I've been cataloging all my VSTs. So like, which ones have I actually used? And then I'm only going to install those on my new machine so I can play my old tracks, and then I'll slowly bring in other ones. But you start to listen to some of those, I'm like, you know, there's something actually good there. So I've been flagging those as possible to go back to. So it'll be interesting to kind of go back to some of those too and just deconstruct them like this and bring them back to the modern production.
Yeah, for sure. And time really can give you a perspective that helps you hear it. You know, sometimes you go back to something 6 months later and you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
You don't even remember sometimes that you even made it. But anyways.
Yeah. Even you, Lenny, like, I mean, your first tracks, although they were good, they just weren't to the same level as you're producing now. And so that's what I was kind of bringing to Jeff. Jeff has learned a lot over his progression from his first earlier tracks that I've heard to the stuff he produces now. So revisiting these old tracks, you almost want to apply what you've learned to those old tracks and kind of deconstruct them and then put them back into this new production, if you will. Anyway.
Yeah, like I bought some 80s music recently, like Art of Noise.
Oh, I love Art of Noise. Oh,
yeah,
man.
you know, so to me that's kind of like the quintessential 80s sounds. However, obviously it's it's a big decade. There's actually quite a big variety
of music,
you know. But one thing that came to mind, or didn't come to mind when I was reading some of the comments, and I also got Laurie Anderson, Oh Superman.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And that was in the
That's
charts.
classic.
That was in the
Yeah.
top 40. And I was like, that's true. The 80s had a lot of experimental music when you really think
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
it. That was like
Yeah.
right there in popular music, and you sort of, I kind of didn't remember that until I heard someone jog my
Makes me
memory.
makes me think of Thomas Dolby for some reason.
Right. It was a lot of, like I say, all kinds
I've
of
got
interesting
I've
stuff.
got his model.
Oh, right. That's the official T-shirt, is it? Nice.
That was from the show, yeah, a couple of weeks ago.
Oh yeah, right on.
Mhm.
Was it in Arizona or?
Yeah, totally tubular. So they had a bunch of 80s bands. Started out with kind of the lower hanging fruit and then got up to Flock of Seagulls and Thomas Dolby at the end of the show, and it was awesome.
Wow.
If you're from
Flock of
from
Seagulls.
that era, I mean, it was, yeah. He doesn't have his hair anymore, but they sounded great.
Nice. Anyway, good stuff there.
Thank
Jeff.
you.
And thank you for sharing. It's nice to hear things in progress too, you know what I mean? So it's good to, don't feel afraid to come to the table with something that's still, you know what I mean, in progress. That's
Yeah, well,
sort of
I
the
was
point.
stuck on
Yeah.
this one, and I didn't want to just let it slip back into the closet, so thank you, everybody.
Okay. All right, Phil.
Yep. So this is one I've been worked on. Got a couple more things to put in towards the last 2/3. I think I want to add kind of a guttural scream and maybe some heavier guitar chords or something. Anyway, you'll hear it. So the last 2/3, there's a bit of a section there I want to work on, but I decided to start trying to make an ambient track or ambient track, something with ambience. So I started digging through Omnisphere's library and finding things like thunderstorms and vocals and sound effects and stuff like that. And so it kind of evolved into this kind of war type piece that, you can kind of envision a couple of opposing armies. Maybe it's the Romans. Actually, I'm working on an AI video for it. Romans versus like the barbarians. They're kind of like going to war, but it's kind of a bit of a precursor to that. So it's called Somewhere Out There.
I'll be rooting for the Romans, but we know who wins in the end.
Yeah. So anyway, that's kind of the lay of the land, and the whole thing was done in Omnisphere. So hope you enjoy it.
All right, let's give it a
And
listen.
don't forget to mute. Yeah. I just noticed that both Jeff and I had flags on our images
Seriously,
for our songs.
totally different songs though.
Mhm.
I really like the core concept. Like it's really good. What tickled my ear a little bit that I didn't like so much was the drums. Like in the second part, I wish they were a little bit different. I don't know how exactly to explain my train of thought, but like more of the pattern that I quite didn't like. But and also in the beginning, like the drum roll type shit, like it's like, oh, can I cuss? Oh, I
Yeah,
just
yeah, of
said.
course, of course.
Okay. The drum roll. I wish like it was brought up a little bit more to the mix. So like it was like more like central in your ear.
Okay.
If you get what I'm saying.
Mhm.
But yeah, other than that, like the core concept, I love it. The vocals are great. I don't know if it's a pad, but I'm gonna call it a pad. I really like it. Yeah, that's my thoughts.
Cool. Yeah, thanks for the feedback.
Really
Of
seemed like
course.
an intro track, and I kept expecting it to build and build and build and then drop. But in a way, I
Mhm.
kind of like the fact that it just kept going. So I think there's a place in this world for tracks that do that, and it's like,
Mhm.
you know what? Like you're so immersed in it that it's like a sustained vibe or whatever, if you will. So I mean, I could honestly really see some mixing with that track, frankly, to be honest with you. You know, like even as it is, like what BPM is that by any chance? Is that like 87?
I think if you go back to the track,
It was like
tells you, but
101 or something like that.
100? Okay, 101. Okay. Yeah.
Oh,
No, but it's
also,
interesting. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I forgot to mention. Sorry for cutting you off. I forgot to mention I think it was a flute, like a flute. That was playing throughout. I really like that touch. Like it gave something to the track that I didn't expect, and it sounded really good.
Yeah, it's a bit of a tribal. They have a lot of ethnic samples and patches based off of those samples in the library.
Okay.
So this was all factory library from Omnisphere 3. So it's got some really rich stuff that they've added, and also old stuff that's been there for years that they've kind of categorized in the library. So I'm discovering new stuff in there that I didn't know was in there before. It's pretty deep.
It's a good find.
So,
It's a good find.
yeah.
Yeah, and you made
47,000
good use
samples,
of
I
it.
think. Yeah.
47,000. Wow. But you made good use of
Yeah.
it, that's for sure. Yes.
Yeah.
I was also going to say, I'm pretty sure you had some panning in there too. But I feel like that's the kind of track that you could really go pretty far with that, even with the percussion. You know, like have like the panning like really wide, perhaps. I don't know, just an idea.
Well,
Cool.
I liked it. I like the story that you've got going there. I like the intro with the thunder and the roar and how it's taken up by the drums, whether that's a kettle drum or
it's taiko
and
type drums. Yeah.
It taiko, okay, and then you know, ending the same way. I tend to see it a little bit more modern in scope than say Roman, though I do get the legionnaire kind of like warlike aspect of it, but I do see it a little bit more modern as opposed. I guess if I'm thinking Roman, I'm thinking more traditional music or something, or more traditional instruments. But if that's even viable at that time, I don't know. But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, really, really good for you know, covering some sort of movie or short story. Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of evolved into that kind of a track, and then when I was listening to it over and over again, I had kind of this idea of like these people preparing for battle. I'm like, what is it going to be? And I actually typed in somewhere out there battle scene into Chat GPT, and it came up with some descriptions that I threw into Midjourney, and that's kind of where it led. So we'll see how it goes. I'm starting to generate a bunch of
I know that
images
Paul
and video
Stretch,
for it.
you know,
Mhm.
like the famous effect that
Oh,
everyone
yeah.
knows about, but
Mhm.
makes everything sound like a battle scene in a way. Like if you take like
Yeah.
a 1 second sound and you stretch it long
Oh,
enough,
yeah.
at one point
Yeah.
it's going to sound like a battle scene.
Yeah.
I don't know. You never know. It's but I really did like the track a lot. I thought it was just very yeah, it's interesting, different from yours other stuff, and a little bit more
Mhm.
organic. But I like it. I like the fact that it has almost a
question for
tactile. It has almost a tactile feel to it. You know what I mean? Like you
Mhm.
can kind of almost feel the sounds. Sorry, go ahead.
Mhm.
question for Philip. What do you use AI for? Like, is it for pictures, videos?
Yeah. Yeah, I use I use it to help generate prompts.
Okay.
I also use it for generating. I'm using ChatGPT for generating 360 panoramas, which I'm also then dropping into Comfy UI and using that for backgrounds. For I'm experimenting with more full length scenes. My father wrote a couple of books set in the time after the Civil War in central Missouri, where he kind of grew up, but before his time. And so I want to take that and kind of create a bit of a movie out of it. So I'm using a combination of ChatGPT, what did I just say? Comfy UI, but I'm also doing a lot of stuff in Midjourney now. So
Okay. Because if it was
this
just
one's
for
all
pictures,
Midjourney.
if it was
I'm
just for
sorry,
pictures,
yeah.
I would just like recommend ArtStation. They got some great stuff in there.
Mm-hmm.
ArtStation.
Yeah. It's like a bunch of like visual artists that put out their stuff, and it's really great actually. I like the interface. I like what they have to offer. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, just a little
Cool.
recommendation.
Yeah, I don't know if Lenny will allow me to share my screen, but I could show kind of some of the in progress stuff.
Of course.
I'm bringing it real quick. It's taking a. That's why I'm waiting to get a new computer. I'm not using latest stuff here. Let's see. I got to get past some of my later experiments, but let's see. Let me share screen.
Is it working for you?
Let's see. My computer's like really slow. So, we need permission to share your screen. Hold on.
Permission? Here, let me.
No, it's on. No, it's on my computer.
Your own.
It's
Yeah.
on the Mac. It's
Firewall.
saying, we're not going to let you share your screen until you agree. It's just a precaution.
I have like an antivirus that does stuff like that.
Yeah. So again, this is really bad because it's so slow on this computer. I've got one of the last Intel MacBook Pros, and
I think I got the other one.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the MacBook Ultra. So that's my next purchase.
Does that what CPU does that have? Is it some type of Apple CPU?
It's it'll be an M5, I believe.
M5?
I was hoping for the M6, but let's see if this will allow me to share my screen now. Let's see. Sorry, I don't want to derail the whole data. Oh, come on.
It's because you're running
the access.
Because you're running Teams on an Apple. It's
yeah. Well, it's
joke.
Teams on an old Apple computer.
Definitely, the sound is way different on Teams. I've learned, but
it's
good.
not as good in my opinion. But why is this not allowing me to? Oh, here we go. Microsoft Teams allow access. I think I have to give it. Okay, I gotta approve with my password. There we go. Let's try this again. Share. Oh, yeah. Oh, wait. Yeah, I would have to quit and reopen Teams. You'll see the video at some point. But yeah,
all right. No, I do look forward to it. If there's I mean, if you ever want to do a session, let me know, Phil, and because I think it'll be interesting for people to see your workflow, and you've made some really great videos over the last little while, and I always enjoy them. So
yeah.
But okay, well,
Thank you, everyone.
I look forward. Speaking of videos, oh man, I keep doing this, don't I? Shit.
Hello, Niagara Falls.
Mm-hmm.
I got Niagara Falls on my mind, I guess. Oh, I actually shared the screen. Okay. Oh, see, I was looking up this video that you mentioned. So here's that artstation.com AI imaging. So
Yeah,
I'll
you can
definitely
even
check
like
that
search
out.
up like battlefield, and it'll give you like some amazing images.
Right on. Cool.
Yeah, I've been. I was using Comfy UI for a long time and doing everything local, and then using can't remember the name of the company to animate them. It was Hilo AI, and then I switched over to Midjourney, and you kind of jump around.
So I don't know if I'm pronouncing the name properly. Is it Krasu?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so yeah, your name just came up. So you sent in something that you said is a work in progress. Is that true?
Yeah. Okay, so basically I'm working towards making an album. I'm gonna start singing and stuff and take singing lessons. But this track, I think I had the idea from Arca. The beginning of the track sounds a bit gory, but it's intentional. It's just like throughout the whole album, I'm gonna do skits. I'm gonna hire voice actors and stuff. Because just like to immerse the listener into like the universe that I'm trying to share. I got one track that's finished, but unfortunately I just finished it today, and it's kind of late to send that email. But yeah, so basically like this is a track I'm working on. It has like very few sounds, just like a core idea. And yeah, I was wondering like if the idea was good, or if somebody could help me finish it. That would be great. But yeah.
Okay, yeah, let's give it a listen.
Don't forget to mute. Was that all?
Yeah, it's a short snippet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, the ideas weren't flowing that day, and even right now, I'm kind of stuck on it. So, yeah, this is what I got so far.
No, I think you can keep going with that and bring in some like higher elements and some kind of high synth parts in there to kind of balance out what you've got going on in the bottom end. What DAW are you using?
I'm using FL Studio.
Okay.
I've been at it for a little while with FL, so I'm gonna stick with that. But Ableton is kind of great for the type of tracks I'm making, and Logic Pro too.
Yeah, I mean, I typed in battle scene in the chat. I'm like that. I felt like that's the battle scene for the movie that I set up. So I almost felt like I could see people coming out like, "Hey, you're in my hood,"
Yeah.
No, it's really good. I thought the production was really tight. Like, I mean, you have a very, very powerful, solid beat, and like it's well produced. So I think definitely need to expand on that for sure, because I think, and you mentioned the intro, like I like that. I like the kind of I don't know, scratching kind of almost. I don't know what to say, but it's kind of like a grimy kind of intro, and it
Mhm.
goes, yeah. Like I think sometimes for me personally, because I also, a lot of us make dance music.
Mhm.
Sometimes the drop, like you come across a drop that's really, really good, and then it's like, okay, now's the hard part. It's like, what do I do now?
Yeah,
Like, you know what I mean? Like I have the
exactly.
good part, and you actually have the intro too, but you know what I mean? Like to develop that into a longer track. I mean,
Mhm.
I feel that I have a similar track in my opinion where I was like, what do I do with it? You know what I mean? I'm sort of repeating
Mhm.
myself, but the drop is good. But I think you got enough there that, like if you can keep some variations going, perhaps with the main beat,
Mhm.
I'm more familiar with drum and bass structure. So very typically with drum and bass, you'll have like a breakdown section and then a second drop. I don't know if
Okay.
that'll work for this particular. What BPM was that, by the way? Is that like about 110 or
130. I want to say
130? Eh?
3.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
going to
okay.
say it was higher than that.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
fast.
I'm
Um,
going.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
going quite fast. For the whole album. The vision that I have, like, the track. Well, the album is called "A Night in the Asylum." Um, it's gonna be
Definitely
about
have that
mental
vibe.
health and stuff. And yeah, there's a part where the protagonist, the main character, he kind of goes out there and stabs people. I'm not sure about the idea, but it's the idea that stuck to my head. So, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do with it.
So you are getting voice actors,
Yeah.
and what do you do? How do you prepare them to add to a track like you've got right there? What do you say to them, uh, and how do you record them? How are you going about that?
Okay, so we have a studio
Mhm.
that I'll bring them to. But my friend Marianne is gonna help me like flesh out a script and stuff for things that they have to say. But the beginning part like is gonna play like really low towards like throughout the track just before that, which is a skit. And yeah, that's sort of the idea I got. I'm gonna do many skits, so I gotta prepare a lot of money for that. But yeah.
Can I ask? So, is the are the sound actors or voice actors, are they
Mm-hmm.
telling a story with words, or are they making sounds, or
It's
both?
more like I'm gonna rely a lot on sound design as far as like footsteps and like stuff like that.
So
And
Foley.
yeah, and the voice actors it's more like about dialogue. Like they'll just
Okay.
talk about like the first track to my album will be a dialogue between my friend and the receptionist, talking about like, oh, I'm here to see Christ at the mental hospital and stuff. And yeah, the album's gonna play out and yeah.
Wow.
Have you heard of the Hoover sound?
The what?
Hoover sound.
No, I haven't.
Hoober. Yeah, I think almost this track could use a Hoover as kind of like the lead synth. It's kind of like a it's a synth sound that has a bit of movement to it.
Okay.
So I'd recommend looking that up and listening to what a Hoover sounds like. You probably have some patches that are kind of like that. I think that could work with this track that you have going right now.
Yeah, I was thinking a descending synth.
Yes.
That
Yes.
Hoover would definitely be down that like it's almost talking
Yeah.
too, so
Yeah.
it could be describing maybe what the person is feeling or something too. So
I was
Yeah.
even thinking of a chromatic, a chromatic drop, just with that heavy kind of saw sound that you have there, if that's
Right.
appropriate.
Right. You
or
know what?
almost
That
or
Yeah.
almost like a
that'd be cool.
slowdown,
Yeah.
like a tape stop, and then boom, you go back into it or something. Could be kind of
Mhm.
cool. I think you
Yeah.
got a lot of great stuff going with that track so far.
Thank you. I did the sound design myself. It wasn't very much too complicated, just like saw waves with like, I think I did like a PD or a FM on the noise. I don't know if it's foreign to any of you, but like I dabble in sound design. I'm not great at it. I was thinking also like adding a sub element because
Mm-hmm.
the lead isn't giving what it's supposed to give like in the sub element,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm unsure about it. And yeah.
Yeah, you could almost do like a subliminal heartbeat type of sub in there, like boom,
Mhm.
and like
That would be great.
make it speed up when there's tension and like slow it down when there's like calm or something. Maybe there's some way you can kind of infuse this heartbeat or sub bass heartbeat pattern in there that would kind of inform the listener kind of or I guess augment what's happening in the visuals.
Okay, I'll take that in notes.
I'd really like to have a chance to hear this when you've got the sound voices added. I'm very intrigued by what you're talking about. Is this conversation going to be kind of a panicky dialogue, or is it a kind of a soothing, helpful kind of dialogue?
It really depends like on this kit. I got a few ideas for skits and like video
Okay.
clips. I have a vision. I have a vision basically, and yeah, some skits are gonna be panicky, and I'm gonna add like voices in the back, like whispers to indicate that the protagonist hears voices and stuff. And
Okay, so somebody could be having a crisis. Okay, yeah.
yeah, basically. And I'm so disappointed that I can't show the first track because I think it's great. Like, as far as like the technical aspect of it, it's not too complex. Like, there's not much going on, but the idea is really good. And like, yeah, I really like what I did with it.
Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna
think it
share it
would
another
be.
time, maybe.
I mean, I don't know what you're doing, and I don't want to suggest anything, but I could almost visualize having a contrast between like the panicky and the calm, the panicky and
Yeah.
the calm, and how they intersect, and that's how mental health is too. Like
Yeah.
you have moments where people are on different wavelengths and they're interacting or they're colliding, if you will, and how that plays out can cause problems or it can actually resolve into a solution. So very cool. I like the whole concept.
Me too.
Yeah, keep us posted for sure. I'd like to hear what comes of it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I'm gonna not release, but I'm gonna send you guys the first track next month, and you guys tell me if you like it.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely come back.
Right. Yeah.
Sure, when you're done.
All right, Richard, you're back. It's good to see you. Your computer cooperating. Right on. Okay.
It bit wigged out, did it? Sorry, I know he uses Bitwig.
I have no idea.
Andrew.
Hello. Okay, guys. Well, yeah. I hope everyone's having a great summer so far. It's been pretty good for me. Weather's been pretty cooperative, so that's nice. This track I'm playing for you today, I played several years ago. I think Lenny might be the only person who heard it before. But the reason why I'm playing it again is I need a critical analysis. I'm submitting the track for a contest.
Okay.
And I want to know if it's of caliber to, like, say the music label is Mousetrap. Now, they have a different sound that I have. So if anyone's familiar with that label and who's on it, then maybe they could tell me if I should even bother sending it in or not, because it does have a totally different sound than some of the major artists. But it is of there's some really nice modulation, and it's not a fast beat. It's probably half tempo of what I usually make, and but it's something that you might want to listen to with the speakers turned up. So if you guys would give her a listen and let me know what you think, that'd be great.
All right, let's give it a whirl.
Good. Don't forget to mute.
feedback on that, I'd really appreciate it. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't forget to mute.
Okay, Richard. We will go ahead and play your tune, and right.
Yeah, I quite enjoyed that. I was bopping around while I was. I quite enjoyed that. I was bopping around while I was. Oops.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's in 4/4. It's 120 beats a minute, but the conga parts are playing 3 against the 4, and that's I mean that wasn't intentional, but once it was there, it was sort of I just couldn't look away, you know, and so that sort of dominated the whole thing. So that was interesting. It was hard to play against.
Yeah, I really thoroughly enjoyed that. The syncopation and everything just kind of made it feel very organic. It felt like just a bunch of people jamming together and not one person composing all the parts. So kudos on that. And my only comment was like, I almost want to hear like a trap drum set in there, you know,
Yeah.
with some cymbals and like a snare and a little bit of bass drum or a kick drum, just to kind of like bring it to the next level. It just really is flowing, and you know, that way you don't have to fade it out. You can kind of bring it to like another level and then kind of disintegrate it at the end instead of fade it out. So anyway, those are my comments.
I was wondering if Bill Bruford might have been available. I think he would have just like set in there really, really well.
Yeah.
And especially because you have that effect that you described with the timing, you know, kind of I'm looking for that really solid kick-ass drum. And so you said, are my drums loud enough? I don't think that was, I think the drums are fine. I think it's that I'm looking for some real kick-ass gut in there at some point in time that it could, and that's why I go like with somebody like Bruford or somebody like that. But that's so hard to tackle in a MIDI kind of environment. Like you got like I don't know how you find that.
If I could play the drums, I would do it. But you're right. And you know, looking through samples, trying to find something that would fit, that wouldn't, you know, that wouldn't detract because it didn't quite, you know. And so, but that's good advice. I should spend some time, you know, trying to find a trap drum set to drop in there.
Or it could be like, you know, it could be something like that that's kind of enhancing that rhythm, you know.
Or
anyway,
the actual
that's what I heard.
drummer.
And you know, I know a guy, you know, but the whole prospect of, you know, having to go to a studio, or, you know, I don't have the gear for recording, you know,
I don't know
all the mics and all that stuff. So it, you know, we'll see.
Yeah.
But really impressive. Very impressive.
Thank you.
Richard. I always love your stuff.
You could just. I think someone mentioned symbols and whatnot.
You're
but
muted, Jill.
Jill. But anyway, I was gonna say you could do some symbols. You're on your own, Richard. I mean, surely.
Actually, I'm really glad you said that. I was wondering, you know, is there room for symbols in there?
Could be.
Okay.
You know, and
You know
the
what?
thing about that is, I'm not trying to downplay the complexities, and Stuart Copeland comes to mind. I mean, to me, he's the king of symbols and whatnot. But you can do some very simple patterns that are very effective. Basically, is all I'm getting at. You know, you don't need a drummer.
I'm gonna go there.
Yeah,
and I'll bring it back with another some more percussion. I like that. This is excellent. Thank you for that advice.
If you don't want to take it to, if you don't want to release it sort of officially, you could just send your file to your drummer friend and just ask him to turn on his phone, and, you know, if he doesn't have any recording equipment, and just jam to it, and then he sends it back to you and take some pieces, put them in, and then at least it could be fun. It could be involving somebody else, and if it's not meant to be released, you know, officially anyway, you'd have it could be a fun thing to do, because I agree with everyone. I mean, it's your, you know, it definitely has the Richard signature, where it's very organic. It flows. It feels just like Phil said. It feels like people are just jamming. It's so much so that my recommendation would be to make it sound like it's musicians trading 12s. So just at one point, just have, you know, almost just the congas by themselves, and maybe a few more instruments, but just, you know, they take their 12 and then you move on to another one, because you could probably fool people that, hey, this is a band just having fun and jamming because it's so organic. That's where I would take that track.
Yeah, that's great advice.
Those percussion tracks, those are libraries, you know, and I just use 4 of the wave files. There's probably another dozen or 2 in there that I haven't even, you know, so there's all sorts of potential for that. That's really good advice. I appreciate it, and I appreciate being encouraged to fool around with it some more. So I'll do that.
I love it.
And I feel confident that you can come to a conclusion and you don't have to fade it out.
Hey,
Make it, keep it live. Keep it
The
live.
Rolling
You can
Stones
always
can
do
fade out.
you can do the fade up. The only
up.
band that I know that's ever done this is the Melvins. They just got louder. You know, think about it, man. Yeah.
Well, I'm in therapy too because I'm trying to keep the pieces from being 15 minutes long, because I have this tendency. And so
Well, so
I thought,
be it.
3.5 minutes, I'm going to stop right here,
Uh-huh.
but I'll add another, 10 minutes to it or so. So no.
Yeah, I mean that kind of music lends itself to a longer track, so
Yeah.
don't cut yourself short.
Definitely.
We'll do
no
the
pun
percussion
intended.
solo in the middle of it all. Yeah, I can't wait. So, okay. Sounds
That's
good.
Alrighty. Well, thank you for sharing, Richard. It's always nice, clean sound. And Jill, you're the next one up.
Lenny, since I came in late, if you want to go first, go ahead. It's okay.
It doesn't really matter, Jill. My tune is an old tune, actually. I don't want to downplay it, but I'm just saying.
All right. In that case, so this one here, it's the first that Jeff and I actually collaborated on this, and it was quite an experiment. We just got it to the finish line today, and we're still probably going to finish line for TEMP, that is, because it's probably not finished. We probably want to just go back and tweak a few things. But for me, I don't know, Jeff and I didn't even have time to wrap it up in terms of discussing, the end result and everything. But it was basically, I would put something together, a track. I would send it to him just as a WAV file, just that one track. He'd put it in his DAW, then he would add a track, and we'd go back and forth like that until, sometimes we'd add a few tracks. And then today, Jeff mastered it again pretty quickly. So just because we wanted to have it here, it doesn't have a name. It's just
it doesn't have a name.
It doesn't have a name yet. We don't know what we're do. But it was a very, very interesting experiment for me anyway, especially because we're using different DAWs, and that is in itself a huge challenge. Because you have to make sure that you're always in sync, but you don't know if you're in sync in terms of, especially as the project grows. So anyway, I'm better equipped for the next project that I do a collaboration with someone who has a different DAW, or Jeff or whatever. But man, if you're using the same DAW, it would simplify things greatly.
Yeah, I don't know that it would make that much difference about the DAW, but I think it's just not knowing. And the challenges were how to communicate, or that, for example, that I just didn't know how to share my file properly. So the first time out, I'd never shared just a track. I'd always downloaded and done my whole project. So I made an error when I was trying to share a track. So I didn't see that it was the two different DAWs. I think it was the way, or my lack of understanding on how to communicate or to deliver what I needed to deliver. So it was the learning curve that was totally missing, because I picked up loops, or I picked up segments from people and used them before, but not worked in this kind of way. And Jill, you're incredibly organized, so made it very simple. I got to say that in most ways, conceptually, I think you were you got the lead. It was your project, and I appreciate being included. I got to add, touch-ups here and there, and but we never really talked about where we were going.
No, we didn't. It was like always a surprise. I get something from you, I'd put it in and say, "Oh, this is interesting." But the funny thing too, Jeff, is sometimes I would expect more. Like I would expect you to just fire me off with a lot, and then you say, "Oh, I just did this pad, and it's just tiny little pad." Again, we could have communicated a little better. I could have said, "Yeah, listen, if you want to do 2 tracks on this one, do 2 tracks, or else it'll take us till the end of the year before we have 12 tracks." But
yeah, and at one time, then, and people were here, like you brought in a lot of voices, right? A lot of
Vocal
voices.
samples, yeah.
Vocal samples, where I had been going, I was waiting for the melody and melody to drop so that we could do harmony, and all of a sudden there's no place for melody and harmony because so I'm going, what? It was like, okay, and certain things we didn't go back to try to perfect them. We just stuck with a lot of the raw stuff, right? So even when I was going to do the mastering today, there's one piece there that was popping at 3.6 in the red, right? And I'm like going, how am I supposed to address this and get the luffs up and address this, this one beat that shows up every couple of bars,
Yeah,
pops the thing up. So that's where my mixing challenge was, right? So
yeah. And again, before I gave it to you, I would have liked to do more
of course,
mixing,
but
we just wanted to get it out for today, just so you guys have an idea of what we did.
I didn't even know if you were going to bring it forward. So okay, all right,
yeah,
cool.
Now you gave me 2 files, and I have the one that's not the OZ, so I have the AL. Is that the one you want?
I like that. And personally,
Okay.
I like that one better. So the only the difference is that the AL is adaptive limiter, so
Okay.
it comes in at about 14.5 lufs, where the ozone, when it mixes, it's about 9. But this is not really a club. It's not really a club song. So I think that the ozone started to push this because it needed a little bit more work at the mixing level. So I like the AL better. Yeah.
Okay, good. That's the one I sent Lenny. You may want to turn it up.
up.
Like if it's too low, guys, you may want to just turn it up on your speakers.
It shouldn't be too bad.
Okay.
It should, it's about 14.
Okay.
Which is what you would send to Apple or Spotify.
Okay, just give me
Let it
a
rip.
few seconds to load it up because, I'm not trying to make a big deal, but it does help me if you do send the files before the meetup starts, preferably an hour before.
We were trying, but
No, I know,
actually,
but
I got-
I'm just saying because that's why now it takes me longer to set
For
it up.
sure.
It's not a big deal, but
Yeah.
I do appreciate everyone else who did send it ahead of time. It helps me, right?
Lenny, when you're
Yeah.
going out, if you would mute me, because for some reason the mute button for me, it's not working. I don't know why.
I can try. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Or
somebody else has been muting me, so
Yeah.
every so often. But
Okay, all right, no
Thank
problem. I'll look at that.
sorry.
Yeah, it was nice to hear a collaboration from you two. It actually all worked together, so there wasn't any oddities or harshness to it. It all kind of flowed together really nicely and worked together. So good job on finding the right components to put together as you traded things back and forth. I've done that before too, and sometimes you just kind of go wildly off in a weird direction and the song doesn't work, but this one it actually does.
Yeah, thanks. What was interesting is that we had this unspoken rule that whatever the other person would give, we would just take.
You have to keep
And
it.
yeah, so to keep it sometimes, especially at the beginning, because you don't know the direction, you say, wow, I'm not sure about that, but then you work with it. And, you know, as we all know, I think it's quite often that happens when we produce. At first you start with something, it's just not, you know, it's not going anywhere. And all of a sudden it clicks.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
And
I
then,
thought that worked really well together. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna. So Jeff, I know you're on Logic, and Jill, you're on Ableton.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just wanted to remember. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, I'm put in the chat. There was a pad. I don't know if it was a pad sound, but it was sort of like a high end. Could have been a lead, but it was just a nice little touch. It sounded like an '80s sound.
Yeah, that was Jeff. That was Jeff's pad.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I thought that added a layer that I was thinking it was Jeff, frankly, because I was like, I don't know. I was trying to think like who added what, and for some reason I was like, you know, it doesn't. But it was a good compliment to your sound, Jill.
Yeah.
It kind of had like a Jill vibe with like a little bit of you know, I could hear some other influences there. So yeah, it was good.
Yeah, Jeff's also got some guitar on there.
You should. Are you guys intending to release this, right? Because I think it's a really good track. I think you should.
We haven't even got to that yet.
Yeah, I think there's some challenges when you get into releasing something with indigenous voices and so on. It you know, like they're legally paid for, but you know, I think if you're going, you almost need to go and get some participation or. Yeah, how is this celebrating? Because I
right
get a
can,
little
I
concerned
see
about
what you
that.
mean. Yeah. You can always take them out, take the vocals out, and
I'm
put in some other vocals. You know,
or like getting groups of
get
individuals.
real vocals.
Exactly, or you know, if you're moving it, that the effort is used to support like a community center or a community group, right? Yeah.
Well, I listen to a lot of artists that do this. They just take samples, so I know it's not an issue.
Deep Forest.
Yeah, Deep Forest, Delirium.
Yeah, I get, my concern is sometimes it's the authenticity of groups that it's yeah, I like Deep Forest really he really goes out of his way to talk about how he sampled everything and what groups they are and what the representatives are. So there, yeah, I think I think it's certainly legal and people are doing it, but I get a little bit concerned myself.
Okay.
Again, because I've worked with so many indigenous anti-Black racism over the years that you want to be right out in front. That's all. Even I think that because I like it, but that was one of the challenges for me, I have to say.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting. I didn't know that.
It's Caravana weekend, by the way. I just remembered this. So there's going to be a lot of good happenings, and one of them involves the Marleys. I got to look this up actually as we speak.
So just we have some discussions to do over coffee.
Yeah,
and plus, do you know what these people are saying in these samples too? Like you hear stories about, like, you go over to Japan and you buy a T-shirt with some cool graphics on it, and you come back and somebody's like, why did you get a shirt that says "I'm an idiot" on it? You know.
Yeah.
Well, the way I use the samples, all the various samples that I use them more as sound
Instruments.
instrument, exactly,
Yes.
as instruments.
Yes.
And sometimes I'll
Exactly.
even change them. As a matter of fact, talked about Deep Forest. He doesn't only record his own samples, because I've heard of a Deep Forest song and there was a sample in there that I have. So he also takes samples from sample packs and whatnot. But like I do, he also manipulates, not all of them, but a lot of those samples. Sometimes he'll reverse them or pitch them down or chops them. He does vocal chops of things. So yeah. So I think
Ranks even is going to be there. Sorry guys, I'm just sharing this thing I was talking about, this Kaya Fest. But it's like the Marley Brothers. It's happening Saturday. Oh, actually, this is August 22nd. Never mind. Sorry, I thought this was this weekend.
So we do have Caravana this weekend, though.
Yeah.
So Jeff, we'll talk about that, because I wouldn't want to put something out that that you're not interested in. Maybe it'll just stay on my playlist or something.
Yeah, I actually had moments. I have to say, you have to. Much of my life was sitting in groups with individuals who've had a lot of challenges in these regards.
In the regards of
their personal stories, music, sound, culture being taken.
Interesting.
Well,
a good part of my
Yeah,
job.
I mean, I think-
in my work. Yeah, so that's that. It's totally legal, but I realize how challenging it is for certain
it's a matter
groups.
of respect, right? I have to say, with music, I often struggle with, for lack of a better word, cultural appropriation, for example. So
Yeah, I think
I'm
you're
trying-
respectful, Jill. I don't know, but
yeah,
it's me.
it's like I like a lot of music that's made by other cultures other than my own, but I always come to it, I think personally, with like an honest approach. It's just like, look, you know what I mean? I happen to like all kinds of music. It's not, I'm not trying to like, I don't think people are trying to rip people off per se. You know what I mean? But
No,
but because
and
jungle music, you know what I mean? Even though it's made, frankly, like by white people. However, it samples a lot of, black music, you know what I mean? And a lot of dance hall. And it's nice to see, obviously, the participation of black producers. But at the end of the day, that's what I mean. I always feel like we have to, give credit where credit's due. And it's like, well, I'm not trying to, you know what I mean? I used to like, anyway, I've liked it's, and also I feel like music is the one art form, not the one, but the easiest art form to share with other cultures for some reason. Like maybe painting is not so difficult either, but I feel like music, it's easy to appreciate another culture. One of the first things you do is you listen to their music. You know what I mean? Like you go on vacation somewhere and it's like, what kind of music do these people make? And so it's a kind of it's a cool it's a great thing about music. But anyway.
Yeah. And to me, evolving an art is to bring different cultures or different sources of the art together. So for instance, you can have a ballet and they use African moves in the ballet. To me, that's the evolution, and that's art, because you are mixing from everywhere. Yeah. So anyway.
Anyways, well, no, that was really good. Let me know, how you guys make out on that. If you do decide to do another version with real vocals, that might be a cool thing to go through. I mean,
well, I even like the idea of going like and working like with individuals in the creation of those things or doing those things. So that's kind of cool.
I'm always on the lookout for some proper vocals, because I find I end up in the same situation. I made that tune there before where I had a really good vocal, but then it's copyright. You know what I mean? So I can't even release it on the streaming platforms. I had to release an instrumental version, which doesn't have the same impact. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then sometimes you'll have like an AI voice, and it's like, can I really release a track with an AI voice? I feel like an idiot, to be honest with you, right? So it's like, you know what I mean? So I end up doing instrumentals, But I do actually play around with a lot of vocals. Sometimes I'll, use AI to strip out the vocals, right? As I've mentioned many, many times, one of the beautiful features of most DJ software, although Virtual DJ was the first, that allowed you to do on-the-fly stems. So as you're playing a tune, you can say, just give me an instrumental, and it'll take the vocals out. Or give me just the a cappella, and it will just give you the voice. So I'll take the voice from a tune that I like, and I'll throw it into one of my tunes just to see how it will sound. You know what I mean? The bad thing with that is that I don't want to end up using those vocals, you know what I mean, for copyright reasons and whatnot. So I try not to do it too much, because then I get distracted. I actually literally was going to play a track tonight that was all vocals, and I thought, you know what? I don't know. I got to think about it. I got to see. So I feel you. The idea of being, you know, inspired by some sampled vocals, and then you're like, to take it to the next level, you know, I think sometimes getting the real thing is there's just no replacement, frankly. But sometimes it works. I mean, I have nothing against samples. Obviously, I'm not a sample guy, but I can for vocals. It depends. If you're doing a little snippet, it's one thing. If you're doing like a actual remix, there's nothing wrong with it. You know what I mean? You know, we've been doing white labels, anonymous releases in dance music for decades, right? If it's that much of a copyright, you just release it anonymous. You know what I mean? But if you actually want to do something official, then, you know, it's a different story. But
you did a Rush remix, right, once? So doesn't Geddy Lee live in Toronto? You could just have him come over.
Actually, you know what? That's a good point. You can get legal. I got a legal license. It only cost me $10. I think it was very cheap, and I was, so you can do a cover song. You can get a mechanical license, I believe it's called. Technically, you're not supposed to change the arrangement, though. I actually changed the arrangement. I changed the lyrics. I removed an entire verse. Can you imagine? But technically, you're supposed to be faithful to the entire song structure, and you can get a mechanical license. So yeah, you can do a legal cover version. That's a good idea for anyone that's interested in that kind of thing. I personally think it's kind of fun. But anyway, well, I guess my tune is up next. So this track I've actually played. I can honestly say to you, people have danced to this track. I played this at the late April show, the Temper, where that we brought Bailey from the UK and gave people in Canada the opportunity to see one of the legends of the drum and bass. One of the artists who hasn't been here for decades, actually, maybe I'm exaggerating, but like at least a good decade and a half. And, you know, that's the weird thing about some of the big names in drum and bass. They don't necessarily all get booked to come to Toronto, frankly. So if you ever do get a chance to see such an artist, you should jump at it. But with that said, I played this tune. This tune is kind of like a drop, frankly. That's all I can really say about it. You tell me. I don't really consider it finished. I consider it kind of like a dub plate. You could throw it into a mix, but it doesn't really have a proper structure per se. So it's sort of a work in progress. So see what you guys think about it.
Don't forget to mute.
Very good. Very dancey.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, I like the kind of mic drop at the end. I almost wanted to have somebody say, "I'm out."
Well, I that second drop, I actually mixed in another track with the vocals, and it worked out perfectly. So, like
Mhm.
as the second drop, I was just imagine vocals simultaneously from the next track. So that
yeah.
track was actually easy to mix out of, was an absolute pain to mix into. And you notice in the beginning, I had like the on purpose, like a lot of like hi-hats.
Mhm.
And even then, it was like I didn't actually play that part. You know what I mean? I'm just using that in the headphones to sync it up,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
then but like the lead way was very very short. It's like bum 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 bum. So it
Yeah.
was like I had to really choose the track carefully. That's more or less was like an old school like neurofunk kind of style.
Mhm.
Neuro these days, no one considers that to be neuro. You know what I mean? It's a much more aggressive type of sound. But like 20 years ago, neuro kind of had a similar sound, or neuro funk actually. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I'm stuck with that. Like I personally might be the last person that's going down with the ship. But hey man, I you know what I mean? Like it's got a vibe to it. I have been mixing it up lately. Like a lot of the projects I'm working on these days, I'm trying different things or whatever. But anyway, yeah, I just thought I'd play this track because I did play, like I say, I did play it. It seemed to have, good energy. I mentioned in the chat, the breakdown is actually from I'm Your Pusher, which
Mhm.
is the Ice-T, which is actually a remix of a tune. But I use, if you notice the bass line, right? It's,
Mhm.
once you point it out, you can hear it. It's kind of funny. And the other thing that I remember is that my tunes aren't mastered as loud as the other tunes I'm playing when I DJ. So I freaking cranked it. Like the breakdown part
Mhm.
was so freaking loud. And I mean, these were proper speakers, right? So it's like everything is shaking. It's beautiful. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. This is kind of the beauty of mixing, I suppose, is you can create something new with a
Oh yeah.
simple loop, even. You know what I mean? Because this tune on its own might be maybe too repetitive, perhaps, or whatever. But I don't
I
know.
didn't think
I don't
so.
know. Oh,
I
man.
didn't think so.
I think the hi-hats help. I think maybe even a more aggressive, like when you kind of want to hear, like, you know what I mean? Now that I'm re-listening to it, like they're there, but maybe even harder.
Mhm.
I don't know. But yeah, it's always fun. I personally like beats. You know what I mean? I've met people who have used the term that's just beats, and I'm like,
Mm.
I don't know what you mean by just beats. Like, what are you
Yeah.
talking about? Like, that's not enough for you? Like, like you need like what are those things? A libretto with like the opera story.
Oh.
That, oh, here we go.
Mhm.
This is, I appreciate that stuff, right? But I don't know. When someone that said that to me, it made me understand how different my opinion of, or how I listen to music. Like I can listen, like I've said this many times. I can listen to my laundry dryer. You know what I mean? Like
And hear
sometimes it
something out of it.
makes, yeah, it sounds good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I don't know. So I like rhythm. Like I like beats. I you know what I mean? I like DJ mixes. I like it when people do things that are kind of that, that balance, right? Expected and unexpected. there's enough familiarity there, but there's enough there that you're not really sure. I think that's what makes it interesting for me. It's like you don't want to be like so just predictable, right?
I
think
noticed that in this
personally-
track where you did break away from that main structure quite a
Right.
bit often, which I really liked. So you did. I did enjoy that unpredictability that you had in this.
Thanks.
Yeah. And then you come back to that. You know, you always come back to that. But
Right.
then once in a while, and when there is a break, it's like, oh, this is a new break. It's I like that.
Yeah, I like to take that kind of liberty. I think it's the least we can do as musicians or producers. But you know, I get in trouble for that. I think this track not so much, frankly. But there are tracks sometimes where people are like, "Well, there's a line between mixing and producing." I guess you know what I mean. In other words, you need sometimes something for the DJ to work with. If you add too many changes, like in a way, that's what the DJ is doing, right? So that's why I struggle. So my breakdowns are still coherent to the track. They're not like meandering into like a totally different, oh, I'm going to take a turn here, you know, which is cool. You know, you can have all kind. I like music like that. Don't get me wrong. That's the thing. I would make music like that all day long. But then you try to mix it, and I realize when I try to mix it myself, I'm like, holy smoke, this is like an impossibility. Like I have certain tracks on my EP I released, for example. I tried to mix those tunes into my set. I had to omit the entire intro. Like I basically had to go just into the drop. I couldn't use the intro. The intro was so different from the drop. And a lot of other tunes, I don't know how to describe it, but my ear could pick it up. When I mixed it in, I was like, whoa, this sounds like a disaster. It doesn't, you know what I mean? So I'm starting to appreciate the criticism that I used to not take as heavily in terms of a DJ friendly perspective. I think it's important to keep that in mind, frankly. I mean, could be like Captain Obvious here, but I never really cared about that pretty much for my entire life until I started trying to mix stuff. And then I was like, holy smoke. And like the other thing that I feel sorry for anyone else that has to mix this is my drums shift sometimes. You know what I mean? So like the tune starts off a certain way, but then if you were to fast forward like 3 seconds into the tune, it's like off a bit already. You know, I have noticed this with other people's music forever, which is to say, like, in other words, most music, frankly, mainstream music, once you sync up the first downbeat, like you could sync your watch to it. You know what I'm saying? Like 3 minutes into it, that drop will be exactly to the nano freaking second. You know what I mean? But when you listen to older style music, that's out the window. Like the drums are like Neil Young is my favorite to demonstrate. I like Neil Young, but listen to his music, man. It's sloppy. There isn't like
well,
there
he
ain't 8
purposely
bars.
made it that way.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Oh no, he did, and because there's situations where he was working with some producers who said, "I want to get your sound into key," and he says, "That's me. That's the way I do that.
Right.
That's my sound. That's who I am.
Yeah.
I don't play in key. I'm always kind of off key."
And that is the beauty of it. It's true.
Yeah, and that was his style, and he was pretty cantankerous old guy.
Yeah, and his music. See, I don't really like. I like Neil Young. A few tracks of his. I personally think his opinions are laughable. Frankly, no offense to the old man. You know, I respect him as a musician, but come on. Like, I think he called like the oil sands in Alberta Hiroshima. Like, it's not Hiroshima. You might say it's bad, but it's just, I don't know. The way he says things is too simplistic for me. But I'm not here to criticize his political stances. As a musician, he's a genius. And a lot of Neil Young's stuff was very simple, but he made it work. You know what I mean? I just heard a track the other day playing at the dentist. My dentist switched up their playlist. I couldn't believe they were playing Neil Young. Harvest Moon. Harvest Moon came up. And I'm like, wow, you guys changed your radio playlist or something, man. I can't believe it, because normally it would be like this, just the worst top 40 crap imaginable.
And you said, let me give you mine.
No, I heard them. I said, wow, I complimented them. Like, wow, you guys switched. And they were like, yeah. And she couldn't believe it. She's, what is this old shit, right? Basically, it was. And I'm like, this is Neil Young. The next track, I think, was Genesis. There was like, and then I think even the Beach Boys came on. She's like, what is this from like the 70s? I'm like, this is the most quintessential like surfer, like the Beach Boys, for crying out loud. It's the 60s, isn't it? I mean, I don't know, man. I thought I was bad with history. These freaking dental hygienists, man, not up to stuff. But anyways, all I was trying to say is the drums and the Neil Young, the particular track I remixed was Ohio, which I really do like that track, and I agree with him on that one. And you know, like, what was it? 4 people literally shot and killed in a war protest, which sadly, at least they protested back then, right? No one's even doing anything now. We have like so many wars going on. I just wanted to circle back to the first track we played here, and Jeff, you had the title "Peace" in your song.
Yeah, peace be sworn.
I think
that with a tattered white flag. Yeah.
I think the world needs some more peace. You know, I think war is a really bad idea, and I think when you look at all the destruction and death, I think less of that would be better. I mean, it's a simple message, but you know, it's one that I agree with, and I'm shocked by the lack of protest. One of the most unpopular wars in the history of the world, and there's no one out there saying anything practically, and it just goes to show you. I mean, that's how bad the whatchamacallit, not to turn, you know, off onto a sour note here, but I think people are so demoralized perhaps that they don't even have the will to protest, I suppose, you know, or maybe the consequences are so high. I don't know what it is, you know what I mean? I'm a
I think also it doesn't get covered in the press in the way that it did in other years. There were you know, much during the Vietnam War, during the Ohio situation, you have 3 major news television stations. There's no cable, there's no internet. Those reporters were on the job. They were there, and they were getting to know all of the people who are leading these protests, and they were making personal statements as reporters, and it was a much different time. Now you don't have that kind of
now you have Lindsey Graham celebrating his birthday at a drone factory in Ukraine. And ironically, he dies like 2 days later. Like, very suspicious in my opinion. But I don't know. I'm not saying anything bad happened. I mean, like if he was poisoned or something. I don't know. It just seems very, very, the timing, you know what I mean? But I don't think anyone's going to miss that guy. No offense. I think everyone is better off that he's gone. That warmongering, you know, servant of the warmongering class. But yeah, look at our own situation here in Canada. Like, you know, a lot of Canadians, you know, God bless us, it's a great country, but we're funding you know, all kinds of death and destruction in Ukraine, Gaza, and it's like it gets swept under the rug. It's like, oh, we got some new economic opportunities for, you know, the defense industry, right? Well, and you know, I'm guilty of being a stock investor, so I've determined that all money is bloody one way or the other. But some money is a bit more bloody than other types of money. That's all I got to say. And I got to read. I'm going to reshake up my stock portfolio, to be honest with you, now that I'm saying this, because, you know, there's companies that are like literally, you know, I'm just saying it's killing babies and pregnant women and murdering journalists and just throwing innocent people into a meat grinder. I always tell people that are really supportive, like, you know, and I'm neutral, right? I'm not picking a side here, but people that are so gung ho about war, you can sign up, and you can go and fight yourself. I'm sure they'll take you if you want to go. Zelensky will be more than happy to let you die on the front lines for a pointless war. They'll even give you money. They have mercenaries now, right? There's a lot of South Americans that are going there. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent here, but I just thought I'd mention, I feel guilty. I don't feel I've spoken up enough about it. I do follow one website I go to. I'll just throw it in the chat here. It's called antiwar.com. And it's a bit of a libertarian leaning website. But at least there's some information there. You know what I mean? And I just encourage everyone. I know this is supposed to be about music, but I was sort of inspired by Roger Waters. I saw him the other day talk about the stuff going on, and it's just wrong. We need to, so here's this website. Got Ron Paul. I don't know if you guys remember him back in the day. He was a congressman. Always voted against war. He was always against the Iraq war, always against these neocons. And you got to give a guy like that credit for being consistent over the years. Anyway, that's my spiel. That's my political spiel for the year. I won't repeat it, but it's this is life and death. You know what I mean? Like, put yourself in the shoes of those people. That's all I got to say. Like, put yourself in their shoes, and how would you feel? You know what I mean? Like, it's just bad. Honestly, there's no need. Anyway, with that said, hope you guys enjoy the rest of the summer. And if you guys want to, keep in touch, the best way is to send me an email, sometimes on, Facebook or whatever. But otherwise, I think our next scheduled meetup is going to be in late September, actually. I'm going to take the
Thanks
August
for
one
saying.
off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, but like I say, if you want to get in touch for whatever reason, I'm always around one way or the other. And, I look forward to hearing more from you all. And, if you guys have any things that are happening, let's just keep me in the loop. And, take care.
Okay. Nice seeing you, everyone.
Cheers,
Thanks,
everybody.
Lenny.
Bye.
Take care, guys.
Okay, good night, everybody. Yeah.